I think I can think of something to say.
I hope so.
I know this is a funeral, Leonard, but I want to tell you how enjoyable this day has
First,
been.
tell everybody who you are.
Oh, I'm Bob Lehrman. Even though my name is Lehrman, I am related so distantly to this family that you would think third and fourth
Second,
cousin,
third, and
second,
fourth.
third, fourth cousin,
All at the same time.
and maybe some more. But I've seen so many people here that I have not seen in a long time that I love. Cindy Lehrman Hoxlander. Her father's name was Nathaniel Lehrman. He once told me that he hated that name. He said, Nathaniel? He said, if I told kids that my name was Nathaniel, they'd beat me up. So he told everybody his name was Nat. He said, Nat was really a good name. One day, our cousin Rose Lehrman, who was a substitute teacher, came into the classroom, and she wrote her name on the board, Rose Lehrman, and she turned around and said, and yes, I am related to my darling nephew, Nathaniel.
Oh.
He said it ruined his entire year. But now I am so happy to have the opportunity to tell you about Nat Lehrman's family, which has influenced my own life so much. We went to Susan, my wife, and Paul's classmate at Roslyn High School. We went to a concert last week, and there was a kind of pre-concert speech, and the person who was talking about it said, you want me there? You got it?
Oh.
Okay.
It's better.
Oh. She said, Mozart was not Mozart because he was Mozart. It was because of his father, Mozart, who pushed him and pushed him and pushed him. And I thought of that because Nucky and Edgar were not just Nucky and Edgar. They were Nucky and Edgar because their father, Jack, pushed and pushed and made sure they had every opportunity to learn. And I know about this because my father wrote a memoir, and in it, he tells a story of how, one day, Nucky and Edgar, he said they were both under 10 years old. Jack took them to the knitting mill of one of our relatives where my father worked. And my father's job was to take them around and explain to them how each of the machines worked in that shop. And he said, they really asked intelligent questions. And when they got through, it was a couple of hours, he said something like, so you're going to go back home? And he said, they answered. I don't know if they answered together. He said, no, we're going to the Daily News building. I thought that was, was really a great education. Anyway, and, Leonard and Betty and Paul would not be Leonard, Betty, and Paul without Nucky. His influence on them, which was passed on to me, was extraordinary. And I'll just talk about three things that made Nucky so influential. The first was, in the early 1970s, my family needed a psychiatrist. We were having a lot of problems at home. My mother said, well, we're 4 psychiatrists in the family. But Nucky is the most heinous guy. So they went to Nucky, and Nucky was great. I mean, he just, you talk about talking therapies. He talked to them, and he especially taught. My brother has given me permission to say this, said he was talking to David, and at one point my mother wanted to say something, and he said, B, stay quiet, I'm talking to David. And David will tell you that his advice really changed the direction of his life and influenced what he had always done. In the 1980s, my mother became friends with Emily. And really, she had retired as an English teacher. She really needed people who could talk about books, talk about philosophy, and she loved the visits that they would make to Nob Hill. I'm grateful for that. And then there's me. I've said this before, but for those of you who weren't there, I'll say I didn't know Nucky's family at all until my brother and I were working in Springfield, Illinois, and was it Tanya's bar mitzvah? I think it was. In 1975,
Right.
My mother called and said, you know, it's too far for us to go to that bar mitzvah, but you're in Illinois, that's next door, why don't you go? So
St. Louis.
we went down to St. Louis. I was sick. I stood up during the service and promptly passed out. Fell over the next pew. 18 doctors were in the audience. They all rushed. One guy was jumping over the pews. But they were all psychiatrists. They had no idea. But luckily I came to on my own. And then, you know, I came back to New York, and Paul and I became friends, and we wrote songs together. And at one point he said, you know, we need a work tape. He said, there's this girl I went to high school with, she lives up the street, maybe she could do it. And he called Susan, and she came, and we have now been married 41 years. So, all these events, you know, make me, you know, not just mourn his loss, not just celebrate him as a, you know, somebody who had the same name I did, but I'm grateful. And I'm grateful that I can be here with all of you to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.